Welcome to Unleash the Awesome with Dave Gambrill. All of us have unique skills, talents, and abilities that aren't being used to their full potential. Our mission is to share the people, tools, apps, and other resources that will help you unleash your awesome on the world.
Yo, what's up? It's Dave. Welcome to another episode of Unleash the Awesome. Today, let's talk about how little hinges swing big doors. This episode is being recorded on January 9th, 2023. And early in January, right around this time, is when people who made New Year's resolutions start bargaining with themselves. They start saying, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? Do I really want to do this? I don't think I'm going to continue with this. And part of the reason why is because most people set New Year's resolutions or goals for the new year based on levels of motivation and discipline that they have never shown in their entire lives. So they get out of the gate saying like, hey, I'm going to do 75 hard, which is a pretty aggressive fitness routine that you can do that just involves getting two bouts of exercise a day, but one of them has to be outside. You have to maintain a diet. You have to take a picture of yourself every day. Not super hard stuff in and of itself, but just in terms of the discipline of doing it every day, like lots of people will fail with it. And so while that may help some people, what we have found time and time again, not only me through my own personal experience and those experiences of the people that I coach and work with, but also through really smart people who have put out books on the Power of Habits. So there's one actually called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, and then there's Atomic Habits by James Clear. And what they would both say to you, based on their research, is it's doing little things over time that has the biggest impact. Just making small changes, but being consistent with those changes, right? So I think about health and fitness, right? A couple things there. Let's talk about on the nutrition side, right? If you made a couple simple swaps from the things that you currently eat that are not good for you to stuff that's better for you, right? Simple swaps, couple calories here, a couple calories there, and you did that consistently over time, you would see some pretty good results in terms of your body weight and your body fat percentage. With hydration, same thing, right? If you're drinking a lot of things that are not good for you, alcohol, soft drinks, things like that, and you just switch those out with water, made a simple switch, you would see some profound impact in your health levels, your fitness levels. When it comes to fitness, right? Something as simple as walking for 20 minutes a day. There's tons of data to back this up. Just 20 minutes a day. So if you're otherwise sedentary right now and you just walked 20 minutes every single day, got your heart rate up to what people call level 2 or zone 2, and you did that every day, right? There's the key. Every day. And you got that 20 minutes in, you would actually see pretty good impact on your cardiovascular fitness, right? And it's not going to make you a marathon runner or be able to sprint faster than Usain Bolt, but if you have otherwise been sedentary, that'll make a big difference. But the thing here is it's little stuff over time. I think one of the best examples to give you is from the financial side. You know, I'm sure you've heard this thing. Would you rather have $1 million or would you rather have 1 penny doubled every day for 30 days, right? If you've not heard this before, many people's first inclination is, I'm just going to take $1 million. That'd be great. But if you look at what happens to a penny and you double it every single day, by day 30, you would have $5,368,709.12. So over 5 times what you would have if you'd taken the $1 million, right? 1 penny doubled every day for 30 days, right? A small thing done consistently over time. And that's where this idea of little hinges swing big doors comes from, right? And that's one of my favorite sayings, because if you think about like giant barn doors or maybe some doors in your house, right? You have these little tiny hinges and these giant doors swing on there, but the hinges hold it. And that's all it takes is that tiny little thing to be able to move that giant door when it's hung properly, right? Now, when it's not hung properly, it causes all kinds of problems, right? So it has to be done right. So I would encourage you to think about today, what it is you're doing. Maybe you're listening to this early in the year and you're already starting to rethink those resolutions, or maybe you have some big goals and things you want to do with the year. I would encourage you to think about how you can break down those goals into small, bite-sized, actionable things that you could do every single day that would make hitting your goals easier, right? Because a lot of people will come out of the gate saying, I want to do this really amazing thing. I want to do, 75 days with a 75 hard or whatever. Maybe your goal should just be like, I'm going to get up and exercise every single day. All right. And then maybe you graduate on to something like 75 hard. But and here's a small habit too. Before you go to bed, you put your running shoes aside or your exercise shoes aside, and you put your socks that you're going to wear and whatever exercise outfit you're going to wear, and you put that aside and it's ready to go. When you wake up in the morning, you're much more likely to actually go to the gym or go outside and walk or exercise or whatever it is you were going to do. It's a small thing. But time and time again, research has shown that small thing makes a big difference, because also if you don't do it, the opposite tends to be a problem, right? You can look at the weather ahead of time. You might know it's going to be cold or raining or something tomorrow, and then you decide not to put stuff aside because you're just not going to do it. And then in the morning, when you're in your nice warm bed and it's cold outside, right? It's really easy to bargain with yourself and say, well, it's warm and I don't really want to do this, right? It's that short-term comfort that we will oftentimes, just as human beings, seek to have more of, instead of that short-term discomfort, but that we know will pay off in the long run, right? So our body really, our biology, our neurobiology really spends a lot of time kind of working against us making big changes in our lives, because your body's primary function is to keep you alive. And one of the things it does, it has this state that you're in. It's called homeostasis, which means let's just keep everything normal and comfortable, right? So your body doesn't want you to get too hot or run too fast or get too cold or do like any of those things. It's really part of your body's job is to keep your heart rate normal, to keep you safe, to keep your respirations at a normal level, right? And so sometimes doing those things like running fast, getting hot, or going outside when it's cold, things like that, those exposure to things, your body's like, whoa, what's going on? Now, there's plenty of really amazing emerging science that says doing those things, challenging your body like that, again, makes you stronger over time. But you have to, again, do this in small doses. So even the people that that are big advocates of Wim Hof and cold exposure and repeated cold exposure, if you've never done any cold exposure or taking cold showers or anything like that, and you just decide you're just going to go swimming out in the Pacific Ocean when it's like 40 degrees in the water or something, you're probably going to have a bad time. I honestly would not recommend that you do that without proper supervision and things like that, right? So work up to it, right? Have some cold exposure in the shower, get used to doing that, and then you can work up to other things. Obviously, check with your healthcare team. I am not a healthcare professional. I'm not giving you healthcare advice. But if you're going to do something like that, right, it makes sense to do it in smaller doses. Hell, I'm even listening to the David Goggins' new book. I can't even remember what it's called, but I think it's called Never Finished. Even he, who many of you know, like he's done ultra marathons, he was a Navy SEAL, like all this crazy stuff. Even he says in his book, some of the trainings and stuff that he did for these ultra marathons, where he was running 100 plus miles at elevation or 100 plus miles at elevation and in temperatures in excess of 100 degrees Fahrenheit, things like that. Even he said when he was doing his training, he would work up to 100 miles. He didn't just go out and try to run 100 miles every day. He would do 20-mile days and maybe try to do a 100-mile week, something like that. But it was, again, small things over time, even in extreme things like that. Right? I mean, for a lot of us, running 20 miles a day might be a big deal. But in a situation like that, where he's looking to run 100 miles, right? He's running 1/5 of what he wants to do when he does that 20-mile run, right? But he's building up to it. So even these, what many of us would call crazy people who do some of these crazy endurance things, they're still doing the little things over time, and that's how they're getting the results. So I would encourage you to think about what you're doing, what your big goals are. Can you break them down into smaller, more achievable daily or weekly action steps that you actually can execute on? Take a look at that and break them down, because I think when you do that, you will see much more success. You'll have a much greater chance of actually achieving your goals, which ultimately helps you unleash your awesome on the world. See you.
Thanks for listening to Unleash the Awesome. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to your podcasts. And please share us on your favorite social media platforms using #UnleashAwesome.